Good morning and welcome to The Edge here in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius and thank you for joining me on the program for today, Friday, August 16th, 2024. It's the end of the week. It's a beautiful day and thank you so much for joining me on the program. We are also live via our social media platforms, so you can check out our YouTube channel, that is ZIZ Online, and via Facebook at ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. When we open the phone lines later, you may call to participate in the conversation at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Let me also greet those of you who are listening from other parts of the world. I know I have people listening all the way from France. I think it's in the afternoon time for them right now. I have people from the US mainland. Thank you so much for joining me on the program for today. I want to start light with the Caribbean or the Creative Power Arts Convention that is coming up here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this convention seeks to bring together people in the creative arts industry. Over the past few years, this is an industry that St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider Caribbean region, has been focusing on and tapping into that industry, or what they call the orange economy, and seeing how they can build on that and support creatives in that industry. And so no longer people are just focusing on traditional means of making money or traditional means of doing things, but you have people who are heavily investing in the creative economy and making that basically, part of their livelihood. And so with the hosting of this convention, I think it seeks to create the platform for further growth and development of the creative economy here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I recall during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic in about late 2020, there were some people who were not very open and not very understanding of people who work in the industry, particularly the DJs, and were saying to DJs that they need to go and get a full-time job. And I think that was very disrespectful to them because that is their job. And so realizing that people who work in the creative industry, they also make a very significant contribution towards the development of the country. And with the staging of this convention, it shows that we understand, it shows that we appreciate what people in the creative arts industry continue to do and have been doing. And I look forward to this. So it takes place from the 31st of August to the 7th of September at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. And it will bring together, or is expected to bring together, top talents and industry leaders from across the region, showcasing St. Kitts and Nevis' commitment to fostering creativity and cultural exchange. Participants will come from countries like St. Lucia, St. Eustachia, St. Martin, Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica, and they will be traveling here to St. Kitts and Nevis to join us for this event. So I definitely look forward to that and to share some of the highlights that come out of this convention with you. I like that we are trying different things. You're trying new things and not always, sticking to what is the norm or what we are accustomed to. First time I'm ever hearing of a convention hosted for people in the creative arts industry or the creative economy, and so it shows that the thought process behind of this convention, it was not very simple. It was very forward thinking in my view, and very strategic, and understanding what the goal here is to bring together industry leaders. It's 8 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour, and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I am Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. It's the end of the week. Now, I want to continue where I left off from yesterday, as I like where the conversation was going in terms of the input that came from some of the other callers. And I also briefly went through the report that I made mention of yesterday, where it focuses on corruption in the Caribbean. And that is the World Justice Project report. And this report basically is insights from the public. And it was compiled in 2022. Basically, they went out and they spoke with you and asked you, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I shared with you some of the different areas that they focused on. In the report, it touched on social norms and acceptability of corruption, because I think we have come to the point where it is now part of our social norm. As the caller made the point yesterday, it has now been engraved, in our community. And I remember making this point, I think it was in 2021 or early 2022. And it was not a popular opinion, but I stuck to it. And it was voters, and we're talking about vote buying, voters making what I feel sometimes are unreasonable demands of their parliamentarians or of their ministers or politicians. And then sometimes we wonder why they end up being so corrupt. Because we make unreasonable demands of them. And we say, hey, well, I want this and I want that. And we go to length and breadth to ensure that we get what we want. And nobody ever thinks about the bigger picture. Nobody ever thinks about the country and how would this negatively impact the country. It is all of self and none of thee. And it is this very selfish thinking. The report also touched on the perceptions of corruption in the public sector, bribe, purposes of the bribe, reporting of corruption. So even though you know that there is corruption taking place within our region, the reporting of it also has been an issue, where people generally are timid, are afraid to report on things like these. It also talks about vote buying, which I just made mention of. And I believe that our people have helped to fuel that, have helped to support that. Now, this is not casting blame on any one particular person, because I'm not here to do that, to say, well, it is your fault or it is your fault. But it is the reality, and I must make mention of it. It talks about corruption across the board and focuses heavily on bribe. And I shared some data with you, which I believe was very alarming. So when it touched on social acceptability of corrupt practices, it says attitudes toward corrupt practices are often mixed depending on the practice at hand. So if it is something that does not really affect a large number of people, then people see it as being acceptable. And they say, okay, oh well, I could live with that. That's fine. That's okay. Of the scenarios involving public officials, the most acceptable corrupt practice is recruiting a public officer on the basis of family ties and friendship networks, with 15% of respondents on average believing this is an acceptable practice. Regionally, embezzlement was the least condoned public sector scenario, as only 9% of respondents on average say that an elected official taking public funds and using them for their private use is an acceptable practice. Of the scenarios involving private sector employees, respondents least frequently approved of corruption in this. On average, just 9% of respondents found a company official asking for a bribe from a job applicant as an acceptable practice. It also touched on bribery, victimization within the public sector. Now, despite highly negative perceptions of corruption among public sector actors, bribery victimization rates among Caribbean respondents are mixed. In the past year, an average of 65% of respondents across the Caribbean had contact with a public official, including through an intermediary. The most common contacts on average occurred with public sector doctors and nurses, about 36%, and public utility company officers employees, 26%. In contacts with both of these groups of officials, respective rates for giving a bribe, gift, or favor were 2% and 4%. On average, the most frequent cases of having to give a bribe, favor, or additional sum of money in the region came during interactions with car registration, driver's license officers, and police officers. Within the 14 countries included in this report, reported cases of bribery varied greatly. In Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada, less than 1% of respondents reported having to pay a bribe or give a gift, favor, or some extra money to a public official. In contrast, 19% of respondents in both the Dominican Republic and Haiti reported having to provide a bribe, gift, or favor within the last 12 months. Respondents in Jamaica, 17%, and Guyana, 16%, faced similar rates of bribery obligations. Of course, it also touches on election manipulation, and this has always been a very dynamic conversation to have when you talk about vote buying, because the question always comes, well, how do you prove that somebody bought your vote? If somebody come to you and say, I would like for you to vote for my party, or I would like for you to vote for Mary Jane or John Doe, and as a show of appreciation for your vote, I'm going to give you $500. Or somebody offers you a plane ticket to come home to vote. Or somebody says, okay, if you show up to vote for Mary Jane or John Doe, or party color X or party color Y, then I'm going to buy you a fridge, because I see the fridge that you have is leaking. Or I am going to replace your microwave, or I'm going to get you a car where you can qualify for a discount of up to 50%. So the question is, how do you classify, vote buying? Like, what exactly is it? And how do you prove it? Like, yes, indeed, this is exactly what vote buying is, and you can bring that person to court and have them convicted, have them charged and convicted for it. A caller made mention of campaign financing, and so these are some of the things that need to be looked at before, as a region, we can say that we are serious about the eradication of corruption. Because then we're just talking. While there has been significant improvement in legislative measures and the legislative framework, I believe that there is a lot more still to be done if we are to see any sort of progress and any sort of movement as it relates to corruption within the region. It's 18 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation here on The Edge. Stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Together to keep her forever resilient and strong. We need slow civilization for its rehabilitation. Come together as a nation for drought and flood mitigation. Development with policies and plans. Let's change our ways, protect our lands. Get involved, every child, woman and man. Island resilience has got the plan. This is my land, my island, our home. It's time to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong.
Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change. The Climate Change Adaptation and Sustainable Land Management Initiative of the OECS Commission, funded by the European Union.
This message is for every business owner in St. Kitts and Nevis. Jumpstart your business and set yourself apart from your competitors with an advertising solution from ZIZ Radio, ZIZ Television, or Big Wave. The Advertising Solutions Department at ZIZ prides itself on providing client-focused advertising solutions that make sense for all local businesses. Don't use the excuse that you can't afford to advertise. Call us at 465-2621. We will sit with you, discover your needs, and design a solution that fits your budget. Advertising works, and with ZIZ, it works even better for your business.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. The phone lines are now open, and we take your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Let's continue this conversation that we started yesterday, looking at corruption in the Caribbean. A few of the callers touched on vote buying in the region, and when I went through the report that I have here in front of me, it made sense in the sense that it has now become a social norm, that there are certain things that are deemed acceptable. Because whenever they are done, whenever these practices are carried out, there is no uproar, there is no cry from the community or the public, because it is seen as, man, that's okay, that's fine. That's fine. And it was only after, listening to that insight and reading this report, I realized that, boy, that's the case, So we have some callers in? Okay, I think we lost that one. But yeah, and it made me realize that it's really it has now become a part of our culture. On one hand, we're going to say, the politicians corrupt and public officials corrupt. And in the same breath, when it is time to, let me hold that thought, we have a call on the line. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I am doing well, and you?
Yes, not too bad. Can I say something?
Go ahead, make your comment.
Yes, well, last week I was talking and I did not finish. I hear when my phone cut off from my end. You must not do me that. It's call as you want. What I am saying is what everybody know. Yesterday and today, your topic is corruption. Now, a minister long ago, rumor used to say The country money used to go to a bank. Now the minister is back. The money can go freely. All that is corruption. And all you're saying now is what happened long time about pet to vote and all kind of things. See you.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution to the program. The phone lines remain open and we are taking your calls. 465. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning. Oh, sorry. I thought you had a call there. That last caller. Okay, let's say this one. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Devonne.
Good morning. Good morning.
What is unfortunate is that there is some percentage, however small, that consider corrupt practices as acceptable. And therein lies the problem. For as long as there are some people who are willing to condone it and practice it, then the problem is likely to persist and even grow, right? Because what is your neighbor, for instance, supposed to think if they see you getting fridge and stove or money, being bribed, essentially, okay, and he is not, right? And he's not getting. I mean, and worse if it's from the public purse, that is taxpayers' money, right? He would look at it as, one, very unfair, and two, it justifies him doing the same thing, right? You don't follow people to do wrong, but just imagine, like I said, you see other people getting it. So you see, people don't mind making sacrifices if everybody doing it. People, that is, everybody sacrificing, right? People would prefer to play on a level playing field rather than risk being disadvantaged, because most voters will be disadvantaged by that kind of practice, right? So but for it to stop, every party, every politician, every voter must agree on a code of ethics to end it, right?
But you believe that voters, I could understand party and the politicians themselves, but do you believe voters are going to agree to a code of ethics?
Well, not the formal code of ethics. The politicians and the parties can do that. Formal thing, but the electorate must be able to understand at some point that this is a democratic right to vote without being bribed, etc., and have integrity in their own selves to make sure that they can't be bribed, because they don't do it to everybody, you know. I'm sure nobody's going to come to you and bribe you and try to bribe you, right? Because they feel that you'll run them.
They know who to approach.
They know who to approach, and that is what is so obnoxious about the whole thing. It's like almost going back to slavery. You're putting a price on people's head and basically deciding, well, he can be bought for this and she can be bought for that. But it's really an obnoxious practice.
And as you said, it's so funny, you know. Like, I will hear people say, and even after reading this report, that they have been bribed. Like, politicians or somebody will come to them and offer them money. And I'm like, not saying that I want people to come to me, but nobody from any party in the Federation has ever approached me and said, look, Mr. Cornelius, here's some money, I want you to vote for me. That has never happened. So you're right in the sense that people know who they can go to or want to go to.
Yeah, they know, and two, they know who to punish and who to reward, right? And to me, they spend that's a hell of a lot of distraction to determine how to manipulate people in that way. No wonder we can't get a lot of things done, right? But the final point I would say is that there's a very thin line between bribery, cheating, and gift giving. Because a lot of people, as you well know, would accept a ticket to come down to vote.
Right. Very much so. It's a norm. And they don't think twice about it,
right? Similarly, but then you can also say there are organizers on the ground here who would organize busloads of people to go and vote.
So is that the same?
So what do you call that?
Right. So that's my question. Is that the same? If you're gonna organize a busload of people from this community to that polling station, and you do it at a larger scale from New York to St. Kitts and Nevis or to Antigua and Barbuda, you know?
well, it's like all sin is sin, right? so you could say the same thing about corruption. Yes, it's a different scale, but and that is why I'm saying that there should be for the voters, there should be an unofficial code of ethics which involves integrity, where they personally would not feel comfortable in doing things like that. Because if they are, you can bet your life the politicians are going to follow suit. They feed on each other, you know. The politician who bribes is contributing to the problem, and the voter who would accept a bribe or who asks for a bribe is also doing the same thing. They feed on each other, right? So it's very difficult to really stop, but I think not because it's difficult, some attempt should be made to at least minimize it. And like I said, the campaign finance reforms, those kinds of things could at least temper parts of it.
All right.
You know? Okay then.
Thank you, Carter, for your contribution to the program. It is 11:29 and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. I am Devonne Cornelius, your host. Looking back at going back to the report that I have here in front of me. So, again, this report was compiled from Insights in 2022 here in the Caribbean. And it also made mention of, or it focused on St. Kitts and Nevis as well. And it has here social norms and acceptability of corruption. And it compiled percentage of people who responded that the following behaviors are always and usually acceptable. So they believe that this is usually acceptable or always acceptable. 2% believe that a public officer being recruited on the basis of family ties and friendship networks. 3% a private citizen offering a bribe to a public official to speed up administrative procedures. We have a caller? All right. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. The phone lines remain open at 465-2555, 718-577-2916. A company asking... Okay. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning. How are you all?
I am doing well, and you?
Well, not too bad really, but I just listening to you all talking, and I will say that thing that you're speaking right now is the truth, right? I know my house get burned down with 2 children, and a politician was running the same time. 2 children lose everything in the house. Come around, every minute he come and say, you're going to give me this and give me that. I told him to his face, you're not going to give me. He come back, he said, you're going to give me. I said, man, believe you're going to give me. He went to my older brother and said to him, encourage me to come with these things. Stove, fridge, gas tank, and what you say and give me. Really and truly, he did joke. That's why I just say I don't need them politicians come by me. Otherwise, they come, when I tell them they must move from me, in from me, get me, shut me, get and go. Here the joke. He pack up the pickup with everything that he say and give to me. And then, when my brother come down off the pickup and start the pickup, he shut the gate. Then he say, his son call him. When he come back, he can talk to us. When he do come back, what do you think he say? He said, take them back out the pickup. He got them to learn to school with sports there. Right? And then he want me to take him back out, me jump over the gate and tell him plain out. If me not so he that do me, when all our mother children vote for them there, and do me that, lose 2 children in a house, plus everything, and say, young, give me these things and make me weak on the time me brother pick up and not get them. You see, we have people that go to jail.
All right.
That's why I say politicians not to play with. I believe right now, since he do me that, I always say, let me believe in God, because they now look for me. Me cut cane. Me work breaks man. Who I was 19 years. They say me no work sufficient. They not give me $1. Yeah? These are things me don't look through with politics. They now look for me. But when election time come, they want to come in my yard. Well, tell them not me.
All right, caller. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your contribution to the program. Do we have more callers? We do. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Greetings. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you, caller. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks for taking our call. You're still on the topic, eh? That story is quite a touchable true story. I'm not telling her, you know. No. But, you know, yeah, you know, it connected with what? The point I'm about to make. I'm listening to reasoning, and for the electorate to be a vanguard and to be part of the cleanliness of the society, the electorate have to be in a comfortable position economically, just like them and those. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, it's not going to work when in the electorate, amongst the electorate, there is people who are struggling even for basic necessities. It is not going to work because the crunch, as we already said, you know, the driver behind corruption is economics, and that's the naked truth. So, it's good if we can reach there for the general public, the electorate to be vanguards and to be part and parcel of cleaning up the thing, but it's not going to be just like that. People are struggling within the electorate counts, and their daily lives have to the standard of living have to be much better. Give thanks to the time. Blessed love.
And thank you for your contribution to the program. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation here on the program for today. We'll take this break, and we will be right back.
Future is unknown. Protect your life, your family, and your valuables from unforeseen circumstances. Let National Caribbean Insurance give you the peace of mind that you so deserve. At NCI, we offer a suite of affordable insurance plans that can be tailored to ease your financial burden. We aim to deliver exceptional products to satisfy all your insurance needs. Whether life, health, motor, or property insurance, NCI has the right solution for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales professionals are ready and able to assist you. Let National Caribbean Insurance Company Limited help you to prepare for the unexpected. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Building our nation is a team effort, and just like any good team, we must be able to respect and support each other, no matter our differences. More inclusive and accepting workplaces enable all individuals to actively contribute their skills and talents to the economy's growth and prosperity.
I'm happy to be inclusive and make the best use of all the talents that St. Kitts and Nevis has to offer. Our communities will be better when everyone can make their contributions without discrimination.
The LGBTQ plus community is doing its part to build a stronger, more resilient St. Kitts and Nevis.
Let us respect our LGBTQ plus community and their talents. More inclusive workplaces create a stronger Caribbean. This message is brought to you by the Eastern Caribbean Alliance for Diversity and Equality, ECADE.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge in ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and you're listening to The Edge. The phone lines are open, and you may call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. If you are just tuning in, it's 11:38, and I shared some information about the Creative Power Arts Convention, which is slated from the 31st of August to the 7th of September 2024, right here in St. Kitts at the Marriott Resort. And it seeks to bring together top leaders in the creative arts industry leaders from across the region, countries like Jamaica, St. Martin, etc., to bring their talents together. And I would say to have a good time. We're continuing where we left off from yesterday with, touching on corruption in the Caribbean. And the report I have here is a very good report. For those of you who are interested in getting this report, it is the World Justice Project Corruption in the Caribbean report. So you could do a simple Google search. You could just type in the World Justice Project Report, Corruption in the Caribbean 2022, and you'll find it right there in a PDF format, easily to be downloaded, and it will give you all of the findings, and it has country profiles. And currently I'm looking at the profiles. Now, it also talks about perceptions of corruption among actors in the public sector and bribe as well, but there are no data. There's no data for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Perhaps they did not get to enough people to have that. We do have some callers in the line, so let's take these calls and hear from them. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Devon.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. You?
All right, I'm doing well.
Okay, I'm glad you're good. Devon, my opinion is this. Politicians who bribe people, and you catch them, they should be jailed. And the electorate who take money for politicians to vote for them, they also should be jailed once you got the facts. Now, for the last election here in the Federation St. Kitts, a politician was interviewed by a lady interviewer. And she asked the politician, how you come to win the election? Because the team unity team, the poll was showing that they would win the election hands down. And the politician laughed. He said, well, an election can be bought. And that is what happened here. And you know who said that? The present Prime Minister, Dr. Ju. Thank you, Devon.
Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I come back again. No, this is something different as saying, right? You can hear me?
I'm hearing you, yes.
Yes, okay. People know what's going on and they don't talk. And when people talk, something like me, they just want to vex. The same minister was saying he will give 1,005. Now they're in. Only the 5 people get in and still take away 250. What they are saying, that's not what they vote for. But not coming on the radio to talk. Have a good weekend. I like the shirt. Mm-hmm. Don't let the fungi burn.
All right, caller. Why you just crack me up? Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Regarding the caller before, right? I like to deal with evidence, yeah? And if we're going to say that people make these comments, we need to be able to substantiate. I cannot substantiate that comment that you claim the Prime Minister may have made. I cannot do that. If you can, then perhaps you could point me into the direction of where that clip was based, so I can say, okay, yes, for a fact. But if we know we can't, if we know we don't have proof of these things, then we are not to say them, and we end up before the clock and make matters worse. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Mr. Cornelius is me. I could see you, Why you cut me off? Do not do that. Please.
Let me stop you.
I don't care what you want to say. I am not coming back if you don't want me to talk.
Mr.
I
Springett,
don't come back.
Could you please hang up the phone, please? Yeah, let me stop you there. And you, I do not know, and I'm going to address it now. I don't understand why you keep saying I'm cutting you off. If you call to make a point, you make the point, and you finish making the point. You can't expect the call to go on forever and ever, amen. We are going to hang up the phone and allow somebody else to call. You just call, you made your point, no time to hang up the phone. You keep calling to saying that people are cutting you off. Call and make your point, and hang up your phone. I really can't. I don't understand why. Let's take this call. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Hi. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
The caller before said when he said that election can be bought, right? You say you can ping it, whatever. Anyway, yes, the Prime Minister said I stay in New York. Him said that election can be bought. He heard and he said that election can be bought. I stayed in New York here and hear him. So when the caller says true. Right. And I'm sure they had tape about it. Thank you, bye.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution. Any more callers on the line? All right. The phone lines are open and we take your calls. 465-2555. I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm just saying that I did not hear the interview. And I'm not going to sit down here and pretend like I hear it to suit anybody. But I didn't hear it. So I can't speak to it. The phone lines remain open and we take your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. It's 11:45. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls.
11:45. His Majesty, this says something about corruption. I have to go find it and share it. But here what we call it the same. We noted that the focus is on corruption by politicians or political corruption in politics. But it's right across the society, Mm-hmm. Yeah, corruption. Mailers will tell me don't use the word right across. Mailers will say use the word wrong across. But it here, there, and almost everywhere. So we know if we just make it look like corruption is in politics alone. It's in religion. Beg pardon?
No, I was agreeing with you because I made the point yesterday that corruption is not just politics. Corruption is also in the private sector and different groups and organizations.
Yes, indeed. So let me as we reason about it forwardly, let me keep that in mind. It's very important because I realize it just depends on the politics. No, it's deeper than that.
Mm-hmm. All right, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. Mr. Cornelius, if you say you can concentrate whatever the Prime Minister said on campaign trail, and we hear what he said. Well, you should be saying, because you didn't hear what he said, it is bad because we here in St. Kitts know. He said $500 was no money.
I think you misunderstand what I just said.
Okay, anyhow, let us move on. He said $500 was no money to feed nobody, but he'll give $1,500. What happened to the $1,500? And everybody's complaining about it. You're in any campaign trail saying all sort of things, but you're not coming with you're not expecting the vote to pass for people to understand what you mean. How bless them.
Phone lines are open and we take your calls. It's 11:48. Please don't put any words in my mouth. That is one thing I will not stand for. I will not stand for it. If you want to try that with somebody else, then you can do that. But don't do that with me. Do not put any words in my mouth and do not say what I did not say. And I'm very firm with that. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm fine.
Awesome.
All I want to tell you is to stay focused. Stay focused. You have a blessed day.
You too, and thank you so much for your words of encouragement. The phone lines remain open, and you're listening to The Edge in ZIZ Radio 96.1